Hi everybody. By request today, another topic from caregivers. Thank you for continuing to send me ideas for these videos and podcasts and asking questions. Topic today is, how do you care for somebody whose mind is intact but their body is failing? How can caregivers support aging parents or a spouse in these kind of situations? Because when you think about it, the challenge is equal, but it's truly the opposite of someone caring for somebody with dementia who has no memory, their mind is not working, but their body may be in good physical condition. So you kind of have to reverse the way that you think about this type of care situation. I'm Pamela D. Wilson. My website is PamelaDWilson.com. On there, a lot of hope, help, and support for caregivers and aging adults, library articles, my blog, and my podcast called The Caring Generation, online courses, everything to help caregivers and aging adults. Please press the follow and the share button on this video so that you get advised when I put new videos up, and you can share these with people that you know who are looking for hope, help, and support. So let's first talk about mental stimulation, which is using our minds. And then we're going to talk about the physical aspects of caring for somebody who has a great mind but has a lot of physical problems and needs a lot of care. So while having a strong mind and a weak body, just like having dementia, can be viewed as a major disadvantage, it only is if you look at it that way. And I'm going to frame this in the aspect of looking at somebody who was very famous, who overcame a disability and was an inspiration for other people. And you might want to look this person up. Have you ever heard of Stephen Hawking? He was one of the world's most famous scientists, amazing mind, but horribly disabled from about the age of 22. He had what was called a motor neuron disease, which is a neurological disease. He lived to the age of 76, and he didn't let any of this hold him back. Now, he was very self-determined, he was positive, and I'm going to share a quote from him about this that may help. And this really can apply to any life situation. So concentrate on things that, in this case, a physical disability doesn't prevent you from doing. And you could say concentrate on things that, not being a math wizard doesn't prevent you from doing, or not being a world-class skier doesn't prevent you from doing. So concentrate on things that your disability doesn't prevent you from doing well, and don't regret the things that, you can't do, that it interferes with. You don't want to be disabled also in spirit and in mind if you have a good mind, as well as physically. So don't let this get you down. And admittedly, I know it takes work, it may take some counseling, it may take a lot of positive thinking, but you can do it. So in line with Stephen Hawking, think of your elderly parents with maybe neurological disorders and their body doesn't work. Or maybe they are deaf and they can't hear. Or maybe they've lost their sight. Can you imagine being in a world where you don't hear anything, where it's silent all the time? Or in a world where you used to be able to read books and do things with your hands, and now you can't see, where like part of your life has been stolen from you. That's significant. Or maybe you have a parent who used to golf and play tennis and ski, and now they're in a wheelchair because of some kind of accident, right? There are plenty of people in the world, like Stephen Hawking, and young people who overcome these challenges. Think of the Special Olympics, and then imagine what it's like to be 50, 60, 70, or 80, still wanting to do all these things, still wanting to have a life, and you have all these physical challenges that now you mentally have to deal with. That can be very hard. So if you're a caregiver of somebody who's physically disabled but they have a sharp mind, here's some things that you can do to help them. Now they have to be willing, they have to be interested, right? We have to accept the fact that we can't always motivate other people. Other people have to be interested, they have to motivate themselves, they have to want to do something. So that's the first caveat here about why this may be harder than you think. Okay, so what did your mom and dad do as a career? Were they an accountant, a school teacher, a scientist? Did they raise children? Did they work part-time? Did they volunteer? Go back to those things that they did when they were younger or before this disability. and see if they're still interested. So a school teacher, somebody who's taught school, English, math, history, they might be a great mentor for young children in school who are struggling with that particular subject. For that, all you need is the mind, right? You don't necessarily need a physical body to go out and hike and do that, because if a child or a young person can come over or do a virtual call, and they're the ones doing all the physical things, and your parent just needs to talk to them or help them, it's a mind thing, right? Same thing with maybe helping with accounting or doing other things. The cool thing about COVID, as challenging as it was, is it gave us a virtual world. I mean, I'm here talking today from far away, right? Wherever you are, doing it on video. This is a way for older people with sharp minds and weak bodies to reach people. There's a lot of organizations now who need volunteers, who do it over video, meetings. You can help your parents investigate organizations and charities that they might be interested in supporting. Now, for example, I work in the aging field, right? I can tell you there are so many groups that meet weekly or monthly that have projects that come from those meetings. Maybe they research healthcare issues, or they follow legislation about prescription drugs or healthcare or Medicare or things like this. There's so much out there if you start exploring, right? And the internet is a great way to start exploring. Now, if your parent wants to go somewhere and do something, in many cases there is transportation for disabled people. It's possible in many cities. Remote areas, probably a little more difficult, but maybe the volunteer organization would come pick your parent up. In larger areas, there's Access-a-Ride, Access-a-Taxi, things through the RTD system, the transport system. Lyft works with some senior organizations to provide transportation. So all of this doesn't have to be at home from a computer. Now, if your parent is in a wheelchair and they need physical assistance, this is the physical part of it, right? They may not be able to go out by themselves if they don't have somebody on the other end who can help them transfer and go to the bathroom and do things like that. In that case, staying home and doing virtual may be more practical. You can hire a caregiver or have somebody come in or a volunteer come in to help them do these things. If your parents are low income, there's a lot of Medicaid programs that have caregivers that come into the home. So there are options. The key is to understand what the options are, not to let your mind limit you as the caregiver to say, well, mom or dad just can't do that. There's no way. It's possible. Parents in these situations also live in assisted living communities or nursing homes. Now, you may think that that's a limiting factor. Well, it's really not, because I can tell you that many of these communities and the staff, they're overwhelmed, they're overworked, there are staff shortages. They would be more than happy to have your parent assist in some way with the community. Maybe it's just to be a person who welcomes new residents, or who visits other residents, or helps put stamps on envelopes, or do something. All you have to do is start asking. Investigate, inquire, find out how a person with a sharp mind can help, because I can tell you there is a lot of need out there for people who are interested and positive and willing to help other people. So don't give up, pursue, keep looking. I'm Pamela D. Wilson. You will find the right thing if you keep a hopeful attitude and a positive attitude. Check out my website, PamelaDWilson.com. A lot of hope, help, support there for caregivers and aging adults. Follow, press the share button on this video to help other people who are also looking for hope, help, and support. Have a fabulous day today. I'll see you all again soon in another video.